You ever watch a rumor bloom into its own weather system? It starts as a whisper in the locker room, becomes a headline on your feed, and by Monday morning, the whole city wants to know who's telling the truth. That's where Cleveland sits right now. A quarterback who didn't play, a coach who won't say exactly why, and a media momentum that smells like something personal. The whole thing feels less like football and more like a messy family argument played on live TV. Newsweek, Shedeur Sanders walked into a storm and walked out with questions. He was added to the Week 8 injury report with back issues, took part in a short pregame warm-up, and then didn't suit up. After the game, he told reporters bluntly, "It wasn't my decision to sit out," and promised the one-liners that make networks light up. "I guarantee I'm going to be good." Those lines read like the words of a player who feels ready and believes the benching was a managerial choice, not a medical call. When a rookie says that in front of cameras, it explodes into 1,000 different interpretations. Yahoo Teithao. What makes this more combustible than your average inactive injury deja vu is how quickly the conversation turned from medical to personal. On national shows, the kind where hot takes land and stay, voices like Skip Bayless and Aqib Talib suggested the coach might be operating from something other than purely football logic. They used the word vendetta. That's a human accusation with teeth. It implies emotion, history, and maybe decisions made off the clock. Whether that's true or performative grit for TV, it's now part of the Browns' public ledger. Yahoo Teithao. Let's put some context on the table. Cleveland drafted 2 quarterbacks this year, Dillon Gabriel in round 3 and Shedeur Sanders in round 5, then traded Joe Flacco away. Gabriel started in Flacco's place and has remained the Week 8 starter. The team's handling of reps, practice reps, and who gets the first team snaps has been noticed by reporters and fans alike. Sanders not receiving consistent first-team work added fuel to the suspicion engine when he was ruled inactive. In the NFL, perception matters almost as much as the playbook. When minutes don't match draft hype, narratives form fast. Athlon Sports. There are also people who will tell you to slow down and let the medical staff breathe. Teams have to balance a rookie's eagerness with long-term development and health. Coaches, doctors, and front offices sometimes disagree about the line between available and game-ready. Kevin Stefanski's public posture was cautious. He wouldn't flatly say Sanders had agency in the decision, and he emphasized that the team didn't feel Sanders was ready to play. That's the official line. Caution trumps speculation. In the absence of a full medical red, those words are meant to close off questions, but often they do the opposite. Yahoo Teithao, now the media circus. Shows like The Arena, Gridiron thrive on edge, strong opinions, loud voices, and the sort of speculation that keeps eyeballs glued to the screen. When a panelist with a profile says a coach has a personal vendetta, it cascades. Fans take screenshots, hosts tweet. The story grows teeth overnight because it's easier to amplify a controversy than to sit patiently in the gray. That doesn't mean the criticism is automatically valid. It does mean the Browns now have a reputation problem that extends beyond X's and O's. Apple Podcasts. Here's the practical football toll. When your rookie QB is publicly frustrated and your starter is still trying to find wins, the team's focus slides. Defenses smell it. Opposing coaches file away the tape. In the locker room, young players watch how management handles these moments and make mental notes about who is trusted and who is protected. That social currency, trust, perceived fairness, and clarity of messaging affects play calling, buy-in, and long-term development. A quarterback's psychological state matters as much as his arm. Athlon Sports. Athlon Sports. So where does this go from here? First, the Browns have a bye week, a built-in pause that every team in chaos secretly wishes for. It gives medical staff time, coaches breathing room to explain decisions to the locker room, and PR teams a chance to shape the narrative. If Stefanski and the org want to calm things, they'll use the bye to share specifics to the extent they can, and to show a path forward for Shedeur, defined rehab milestones, clarity on reps, and visible support that signals the player isn't being punished for personality. Silence in this environment breeds cynicism. X, formerly Twitter. Second, watch the reps once practice restarts. The clearest truth will be on the field. Who gets first-team snaps, who's taking the majority of scout team reps, and how the coaching staff publicly frames the development timeline. If Sanders returns to meaningful practice and reps ramp up, the easy narrative, injury, precaution, recovery, wins. If not, the skeptics get more ammunition and the Vendetta storyline becomes harder to dismiss. Football is stubbornly empirical. Minutes tell stories, words sometimes can't. Yahoo Thethau third, the organization must manage optics. NFL teams are built not just with playbooks, but with storylines that attract fans, sponsors, and free agents. If a franchise looks like it treats excitement and PR over player welfare, it loses both locker room trust and long-term appeal. The smart PR move is not spin. It's steady transparency, timelines, medical updates, and a visible plan for development that everyone, players, media, and fans can follow. That's boring, but it works. Yahoo Thethau, here's the human image to carry. A rookie who came with a headline and a legacy attached. Famous last name, college star, a whole cultural freight train, sitting in street clothes watching his competitors play. He stands at a crossroads where patience and impatience meet. The coach stands at a different crossroads, between protecting a player and protecting a season. The owner watches both crosses and wonders which gamble to cash in on. That triangular tension is the good stuff for producers and podcasters because it's messy and human, and it's exactly the kind of drama the modern NFL is made of. Yahoo Thethau. If you're keeping score on stakes, this is not just about one inactive Sunday. It's about the Browns' decision-making philosophy. Do they prioritize long-term development or short-term optics? It's about the coach's credibility. Can Stefanski navigate a public firestorm and maintain locker room buy-in? And it's about the rookie's trajectory. Does Sanders get the reps he needs to grow, or does he become a cautionary tale about how hype can outpace opportunity? The answers will shape more than a single season. Athlon Sports, final thought. The NFL has always been a mix of performance and politics, but the balance tilts when the two collide in public. The Browns' next chapter will depend less on hot takes and more on tangible steps, clear medical updates, visible practice reps, and a coach willing to anchor his decisions in a narrative the club can defend. Until then, the microphones stay hot and the story keeps expanding. Fans love a comeback. They also love a clean answer. Right now, Cleveland owes them both. Yahoo Thethau. Picture this. A crowded Browns press room, a microphone with yesterday's lipstick, and a question that refuses to leave the air. Why isn't Shedeur Sanders playing? The answer should be simple. X's and O's. Practice reps, the coach's plan. Instead, the conversation morphs into something uglier. Whispers about a personal vendetta, cable show hot takes, and the kind of rumor that eats at a locker room. The field is supposed to settle arguments. Now the field hasn't even had the chance, and the rumor mill is already filing charges. Yahoo Thethau. Let's start with the facts everyone can at least agree on. The Browns drafted 2 quarterbacks this year, Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round and Shedeur Sanders in the 5th, and eventually moved Joe Flacco out of the picture. Gabriel has been getting the starts, and Shedeur, who arrived with a national spotlight and a famous last name, has not taken a regular season snap. That alone would be juicy enough. But when TV hosts and former players begin insisting the decision isn't football related, it becomes a story about people, not playbooks. SI. On a late-night sports panel, the rhetoric escalated. Skip Bayless waved his hands and argued that the vibe around Shedeur was a problem. Aqib Talib went further, suggesting coach Kevin Stefanski might have a personal grudge, and that if the rookie later leads wins, Stefanski should be fired. Those are heavy words because they imply motive, not strategy, and motive is hard to prove without a camera in the coach's head. Still, the headlines spread like a locker room rumor. Was the franchise protecting football decisions or protecting a coach's ego? Yahoo Thethau.